coming now to introduce you to our MC, Bob. No, sorry.
Thank you very much. What was your name again? Oh, thank you. Okay, well, a good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Christmas extravaganza here at the Parador. And amazing how Christmas comes around so quick, doesn't it? My word, 5 minutes since it was last Christmas. I've still got my Easter eggs. Okay, it's my pleasure now to introduce to you the English choir, and they are directed by Jan Gardner-Brown and accompanies Heather Butcher. So, big round of applause, please, for the English choir.
Good morning, everybody. We, the English choir, we're delighted to be here to entertain you this morning. Unfortunately, our President, Sue Ells, is rather unwell today, so you're getting me as second best. We begin our concert with 2 numbers. We recently performed these in our Friends in Harmony concert with the Costa Blanca Male Voice Choir. The first, Baby It's Cold Outside, was not today. And followed that by the lovely Imagine.
I really can't stay. It's cold outside. I've got to go away. It's cold outside. This evening must be so very long. I hold your hands and just like another will start to worry. My father will be pacing the floor. So really I'd better scurry. Or maybe just a half a drink more. Say what's in this ring? I wish I knew how to break the spell. I ought to say no, 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 sir. At least I'm gonna say that I tried. I really can't say. Oh, it's cold outside.
then on to the lovely Amigos para Siempre.
Super Trooper means I'm gonna blind me, or I won't feel blue, like I always do, 'cause somewhere in the crowd there's you. I was sick and tired of everything when I called you last night from amigos para siempre. I feel you near me even when we are apart. Just knowing you are in this world and on my heart. Friends for life, not just a summer or a spring. Amigos para siempre. We share memories I won't forget, and we share more, my friends. We haven't started yet. Something happens when we're together. When I look at you, I wonder why there has to come a time when we must say goodbye. I'm alive when we are together. Amigos para siempre means you'll always be my friend. Amigos for sempre means a love that cannot end. Friends for life, not just a summer or a spring. Amigos para siempre. I feel you near me even when we are apart. Just knowing you are in this world and all my heart. Friends for life, not just a summer or a spring. Amigos para siempre. I feel you near me even when we are apart. Just knowing you are in this world and all my heart. Friends for life, not just a summer or a spring. Amigos para siempre. Amigos para
We're fast approaching that very exciting time of year for young and old. And we ladies now will entertain you with Winter Wonderland.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Fly away is the bluebird, here to stay is the new bird. He sings a love song as we go along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman, then pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man, but you can do the job when you're in town. Later on we'll conspire as we dream by the fire, to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman, then pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man, but you can do the job when you're in town. Later on we'll conspire as we dream by the fire, to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. To face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland.
And as the men now rejoin us, we perform for you a real favourite, White Christmas.
And we'd like you all to join in when you do the repeat. I'm sure you all know the words. The sun is shining.
wonderful audience for us today.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The tidings we bring to you and your king. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much, the English choir. Oh, fabulous. I loved harmony, that was good, wasn't it? Do you want to hear a joke? Oh dear, I'm not terribly good at jokes, but this is hilarious. This is hilarious, this joke. Just before Christmas, the magistrate was in quite a happy mood, and he got a prisoner in front of him in the dock, and this judge is quite happy. He's a nice guy, and he said to the prisoner, he said, "What are you here for?" So the prisoner said, "I was doing my Christmas shopping early." I've got to laugh because I know the punchline. It's absolutely hilarious. You'll be hilarious at the punchline. It's so funny. Anyway, the judge said, "You're here for doing your Christmas shopping early?" He said, "Well, that's not a crime." He said, "When were you doing it?" Funny this is. He said, "Last weekend when the shops were closed." Okay, now we have our pantomime called 40 Winks Beauty. You're in for a real treat. I think this is very funny. But don't forget, with all pantos, we ask for a little bit of audience participation. So don't forget, "Oh, no, you don't," or "No, he isn't," "Oh, yes, he is," and all that sort of thing. So don't forget to have a listen out, and I'd like to introduce to you now the pantomime 40 Winks Beauty.
As your announcer, it is now my pleasant duty to introduce our potted panto, 40 Winks for Beauty. Our scene's the palace of the king, of Noah in particular. The floors are horizontal, the walls are perpendicular. But more important far than all these solid bricks and mortar, the king and queen have organised a party for their daughter. And round the small princess's cot, in dresses white and glistening, parents gather with their dresses ready for the christening.
My present for the baby is a nature sweet and gentle, and may she love all novels that are super sentimental.
I wish the child goodness that will never need correction. I wish that she will always have a really schoolgirl complexion.
We thank you, fairies, kindly for your gifts and your good wishes.
And please accept with compliments these silver-plated dishes.
But who is this with face so fierce and eyes of black as pitch? Tis the wicked fairy Maud, a nasty-tempered witch.
Haha, so you thought you wouldn't invite me to the party?
We thought that you were ill.
No, I'm very hale and hearty.
Well, all the same, we're glad you came.
What a whopper.
Mabel, run and tell the maids to set another place at table.
And I'd like one of those silver dishes like you gave the others.
Oh dear, there was one here.
I took it round to mother's.
But Maud is in a temper now, and with a smile unpleasant, she turns towards the helpless babe and gives a fatal present.
I wish your brat would prick her little finger on the spindle and die of slow blood poisoning. Goodbye!
Yeah, that's a swindle. We can't have that.
Heavens above.
Don't worry, love. It's just her little joke.
Sadly, Your Majesty, it's not a joke. It's tragic.
Well, can't you fairies cancel out this spell with other magic?
The fairies look dead serious now and go into a huddle to see if they can find a good solution to the muddle. At last the leading fairy speaks.
We cannot break the spell.
This makes the king so mad.
I wish old Maud would go to...
Well, the fairies in the corner have another little matter, and they say,
Make no mistake, we cannot break this spell. Nor can you. But we can bend it quite a bit.
and that is what they do.
As anyone can tell.
So here we call upon them all to help us break the spell.
Last the fairies straighten up, their magic task completed. The leader speaks.
Your Majesty, old Maud is now defeated. The princess will not really die, in spite of all your fears. Instead, she'll go to bed and sleep for 100 years.
100 years?
The queen in tears upon the sofa sinks. The king upon his fingers counts.
That's 40,000 winks.
At your behest, we've done our best, and they will have to stand. So now, goodbye.
And off they fly, back home to fairyland. The king now calls his chief of staff and gives him urgent orders.
This proclamation go and make throughout our royal borders.
Let every spindle, spinning wheel and sharply pointed thing, however employed, be now destroyed. By order, signed, the King. P.S. Whoever disobeys, or man or maid or wife, shall have his head cut off, and then be sent to jail for life.
So there we'll draw the curtain on the tragic royal pair and leave the little princess crying. The years have quickly rolled away, as years so often do, so we'll exclude the interlude and pass on to Act 2. The princess has been growing fast, and I'm prepared to wager, in all your days, you'll never gaze on such a cute teenager.
My dad is such a cruel man. He won't let me go walking without my nurse. It's such a curse, but what's the use of talking? I wish my fairy godmother would come and set me free.
The words were hardly spoken when, defying lock and key, through walls of brick, 12 inches thick, and doors of stout oak board appeared someone we've met before.
I am your Auntie Maud.
Have you come to set me free?
Oh, no.
Her hopes begin to fade.
I've bought a present for you.
Oh? What is it?
A spindle.
Alas, the fatal implement the princess takes in hand. She does not fear the danger here. She does not understand.
Go on, dear, feel how sharp it is.
Oh, princess! Have a care.
Press one small joint upon the point and press. There.
I feel so faint.
Of course you do. Lie down upon the bed. Revenge at last, she fading fast, you'll very soon be dead.
With fiendish laughs and tears, and quit the room, and mounted her broom, and simply disappeared. And now the young princess's nurse, attracted by the din, all out of breath and scared to death, comes quickly bursting in.
Princess! Princess!
In great distress, like some demented thing.
My child! My
In
child!
accents wild, she makes the welkin ring.
Oh, art thou feeling faint, my dear? Or is it indigestion? Or art thou dead upon thy bed?
And that's the guinea question. The nurse then calls the chief of staff. Who calls the king again, who calls his spouse. They try to rouse their daughter, but in vain. Then suddenly the queen espies the spindle on the floor.
Who dares to bring this deadly thing within the palace door?
The others all examine it like customs house officials.
What's this I see? M-A-U-D, the fairy Maud's initials.
So now the horrid truth is out, confirming all their fears. The Princess Gay is doomed to stay asleep 100 years.
If only we could sleep as well.
The Queen in anguish cries.
No sooner said than done!
Fairy replies.
Now sit down, please, be quite at ease. You'll soon be fast asleep. And round the walls, a forest tall shall constant vigil keep. So slumber on, fair beauty, till to wake you with a kiss, a prince shall come.
Excuse me, mum, what shall I do with this? And though the fairy could have made an answer, that's quite true, her breath she saves, her wand she waves, and finishes Act 2. Now Father Time accelerates the supersonic pace, and past our ears 100 years have flown without a trace. Around the palace holly trees and prickly brambles grow. No mortals dare to venture there, 'tis haunted, so they say. And there, alas, our story ends. For up until tonight, through all these years, no prince appears to put our troubles right. And whether in the future any prince will come or no, I cannot tell. And so, farewell. And thank you. Who is this? Who looks as if he needs a dose of physic? Hair so bright and accent right.
I'm Charlie, Prince of Chiswick.
Thrice welcome, Prince. And have you come to break the ancient curse imposed by Maud and snap the cord of sleep that binds us?
Yes.
But can you take a sword in hand, and can you cut a dash, and wake the sleeping beauty?
Dunno, I'll have a bash.
But how to cut through jungle thick? That really is a poser, and reach the gate.
That's easy, mate. I drive my own bulldozer.
This Charlie is not quite the sort of prince they have in books. But possibly he may not be as dopey as he looks. Away then, noble Charlie Prince, and break the fairy's spell. So off he goes, and I suppose we'd better go as well, and see just what's been happening within the portico, where last we saw those sleepers just 100 years ago. How cruel time has laid his hand upon this little scene. On all asleep, the dust lies deep. You're seeing what I mean. But now the noble Charlie Prince, bulldozing through the trees, arrives within the palace walls and gasps at what he sees. Say now, your Royal Highness, sir, or Charlie if you'd rather, what do you think?
Your stripy pig is the ghost of Hamlet's father.
Come, please approach as tenderly and softly as you may, and gently plant a loving kiss on Beauty's lips.
Okay.
Now, are you ready, noble Prince?
My lips are burst.
If you don't mind, it might be kind to take the fag out first. In silence, let us gaze upon the scene of purest bliss, as Charlie P, on bended knee, wakes Beauty with a kiss.
What time is it?
My governor, the clock has stopped at 5.
It seems so late. Oh, what a state!
Come, husband, look alive. It's Friday, and I must get the fish, and you must pay the wages.
I feel so stiff. It's just as if I'd been asleep for ages.
Don't interrupt your daddy, just beg your daddy's pardon. And now you know it's time to go for walkies in the garden. Absolutely.
Go away. Where is he? Where's my prince, that best of men?
He's
behind.
He's
Oh, no, he isn't.
Oh, yes, he is.
Oh, no, he isn't.
Oh, yes, he is.
I mean, the prince have rescued me.
Oh, no, you haven't.
It wasn't you.
It was, you know.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
Oh, say not so. It can't be true.
Princess, the young man speaks the truth. It happened as he said. Now will you take him for your mate, and will you with him wed?
That little pest, that little best, the century can show. Pass me up the spindle and back to sleep. Oh, no, no, no.
Now, just a minute. First of all, before we all get dizzy, please tell us who you are.
I am a royal prince.
Oh, is he?
Your Highness, I'm sorry I am late. Some silly pig, apart from the big bulldozer at the gate. I got my men to put it in the moat, and so the coach and 4 are at the door. Come, princess, shall we go?
Most gladly.
Wait a minute.
But Charlie pleads in vain. The king and queen their blessing give. And tripping in again, the fairies, short and tall, bring presents for the bride, except old Maud, who's quite ignored.
Once more I am defied. On one condition only, the princess can go free, and that is if the prince who kissed her lips shall marry me.
There's no time for Charlie.
Oh, didn't they do well? Let's hear it for the cast of the panto. Okay, right. Let's hear it for the cheerleaders. person I'd like to introduce to you is a very funny man and hopefully bring back a few memories. He's going to do a monologue. His name is Mr. Eric Johnson, and the monologue is called Albert's Return. Eric, thank you.
Now you've heard about Albert Ramsbottom. 1 year at Blackpool Zoo. 1 year with his stick, with his horse's head handle. He poked it in a lion's ear. That lion was called Wallace. And that poke in the ear made him quite mad. And before you could say, Bob's your uncle, he'd up and swallowed the lad. He was sorry as soon as he'd done it, because with lions, children had always been chums. Besides, he'd got no teeth in his muzzle, and he couldn't chew Albert on gums. Now Wallace could feel Albert kipping and fighting inside him as he lay in his bed of dried ferns. It might have been little lad's birthday, but he wished him happy return. Just then, Wallace stood up feeling quite bad. It was then that he decided to stage a comeback for the lad. So putting his head in the corner, on his front paws he did walk. He coughed, he sneezed, he spluttered, and Albert popped out like a cork. Now Wallace felt better directly. His figure once again was quite lean, and the only thing that happened to Albert was that his hands and face were quite clean. Meanwhile, Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbottom had gone home for their tea feeling blue. Mother says, I feel right down in the mouth like, and Pa says, I bet Albert does too. Mother said, it's a good job the future cannot be revealed, for if I knew we're going to lose him, I'd not have his boots sold or healed. Father said, come, what can't be done must be endured. Every cloud has a silver lining, at least we had Albert insured. A knock came at the door at that moment. Those kind words Father did speak. It was a man from the Prudential, come for his tuppence per person per week. Now when Pa saw who was knocking, he carried laughing and carried on laughing so. The man said, what have you got to laugh about? He says, you'll laugh and all when you know. Pa said, excuse Pa from laughing, for some things in this world are quite strange. A lion's ate our Albert, you'll have to pay us for a change. The man said, come, let's understand this. You don't mean to say you've lost him? And Pa says, oh no, we know where he is. The man, they listened to their story, and then his purse from his pocket he drew. He paid them with interest and bonus the princely sum of £9 4 and 2. Now Pa had scarce got his hands on the money when a face at the window they did see. Ma said, here, look, it's Albert. And Pa said, aye, it would be. Meanwhile, the man from the Prudential to pick up his money began. And Pa says, hold on, just wait a minute, young man. Then giving Albert a shilling, he said, here, pop back up to the zoo. Take your stick with your horse's handle and see what the tigers can do.
And, okay, we're ready now. And it's starring Lindsay and Gary Johnson, and the sketch is called What's My Line? Thank you.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
What's that you've got there?
It's,
Is it a cafe con leche?
no, it's,
Cafe cortado?
no, it's tea.
Oh. haven't seen you in here lately.
No, as a matter of fact, I've been a bit off...
Off on holiday.
No, a bit off...
Coffee.
No, a bit off colour.
What's been wrong with you then?
Well, it all started at work, actually. I had these strange feelings in my...
In your leg?
No, in my...
In your side?
No, in my...
In your back?
No, in my...
In your backside?
No, in my lunch hour. Anyway, it all started in the canteen, actually. I was sitting opposite this woman, and she'd got one of those,
What, look in her eye?
No,
Hourglass figures?
No, apple turnovers. Anyway, she got this apple turnover and she kept...
Turning it over?
No, she kept toying with it.
Oh, toying with it, right.
Right. Well, I was seated opposite her at this little table. And suddenly I felt her,
What, her hand on your knee?
No,
What, her hand on your other knee?
No,
What are you feeling then? What's she got her hand on? What are you feeling?
Well, I felt like she was looking at me, you know.
Looking at you, right.
Yeah, well, I could tell she fancied me. We got talking about this and that and about gardening and that, and it came up in conversation that I'm very good on the...
What, on the lawn?
No, on the...
On Friday night?
No, on pest control. So she says to me, she says, what are you doing on Saturday afternoon? And I said, well, I'll probably be going out shopping because the wife will be resting in bed with her...
With any luck?
No, with her trouble.
Oh, what's her trouble then? What trouble she got?
Well, ever since she worked in that Greek restaurant, she's had bad...
What, bad habits?
No, bad...
Bad breath?
No, bad feet. Anyway, she says, you come round on Saturday afternoon, I can lie sunbathing on the patio, and you can look at my big...
Big what?
begonias. Well, at first, I refused. I was taken aback because I didn't have a long enough...
What?
A long enough...
A long enough spray, or what?
No, a long enough shopping list to be away that long.
So you never went then?
Oh, yes, I went, didn't I? Oh, yes, I went. She pleaded with me, didn't she? She pleaded with me. She said, if you don't come round, she'd be lying there all afternoon on her...
On her back?
No, on her...
On her front?
No, on her...
On her begonias?
No, on her own. Anyway, she then starts walking around in the sunshine. And I said to her, I'd like to kiss you, I said. Well, immediately she got on her...
Her hands and knees?
No, on her high horse. Certainly not, she said. I think you're a little...
What, a little raver?
No, a little...
A little drunk?
No, a little premature.
Oh, premature.
I've only known you 1 hour, she says. If you want a kiss, you're going to have to wait another 10 minutes. And she went indoors. Well, I stayed behind and I tidied up the rockery and that, and then I went indoors. And there she was in the all...
The all together?
No, in the all of her house. Anyway, a good time was had by all. And afterwards, she gave me a round of...
What, a round of applause?
No, a round of...
round of golf?
No, a round of toast and a cup of tea. Well, anyway, a good time was had by all, and she...
And when you got home?
Well, when I got home, I was very worried that the wife might find out. And do you know what she gave me?
What?
She gave me a round of...
A bunch of fives?
No, a bunch of begonias.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, well, I think that concludes the show for this year. Have you all enjoyed it? Yes. Okay, it's a bit difficult to get everybody on stage and everything, but first of all, let's have a round of applause for our English choir. good. Their singing was absolutely fantastic. Okay, next we've got our pantomime crew and our crowd. 40 Winks. And let's hear for the cheerleaders. There we have Mr. Eric Johnson, the monologue, Albert Ritter, and Lindsay and Gary Johnson, What's My Line? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to now hand you over to Mr. Peter Allen. Where is he? Where are you? I was just going to say a few words.
No, he isn't.
In a high voice, Peter.
No, he isn't. Bob, thank you very much. That was wonderful comparing. You deserve a big round of thanks. Very hard. Nice joke. They're always, of course, the English choir, I'd like to say thank you to. They entertained us royally, I thought. They're always the people behind the scenes that, you know, make this thing work. And first of all, I'd like to thank Penny Grant, who directed the pantomime. Penny. And then Lindsay. Where's Lindsay Johnson? At the back. She's backstage changing. She directed what she did. What's My Line? The cheerleaders dance. So she did quite a bit there. Is Eric there?
Is there?
Eric up there. He's a done one-man show. Big thanks to him. And as you can see, very quietly in the back there, our sound man, Richard King. Statues standing around with cameras. Ross Ord and Peter Sparks. Huge thanks to them for the video. And then the photography, Sally Rush, hiding behind the pillar. Mike Oxley Brown, are you here, Mike? Is he here? No. He did all the programs and all the bits and pieces. Is he there? Thank you, Mike. Costumes were courtesy of Caroline and Javier Player's wardrobe department, so big thanks to them. All of the backstage volunteers. Peter Messenger, is he visible? Peter? Stan Staines. Diane Ord. Everyone can see who you are. Brenda Bates. Where's Brenda? There we are, Brenda. Pins. And the mince pie and sherry crew, who were there. I'd like to thank the staff of the Parador, and above all, you, the audience. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience. It's great to perform in front of a very lively, very responsive audience. Thank you so much. Thank you. And finally, I'll hand you over to our President, Val Dromgoole, for the final presentation.
The last, not the least, the most important person in the Extravaganza, Shirley King. Shirley's work's a treat. These are for you. You have to lift them, they're too heavy for them.
I'm not allowed to lift anything heavy, so Richard.
Richard! Okay. All right. You can lift them.
Thank you.